it's about trying to find the solutions.
Nigel, I know it's not your nature to dwell too much on the past, so let's look forward. West Bromwich Albion on Saturday. What do we need to do to get a positive result there?
Well, we need a response after the other night. So obviously, very disappointing for us again to concede late in the game against Forest. So on 2 occasions, we need to make sure that we're ready for this performance, for this game, by knowing what to expect from our opponents, and it will be a big challenge for us. But yeah, we'll go there and hopefully get the right response.
How soon do you close a game like Forest off in terms of your mind and then switch forward? Because it obviously was a bitter result at the end. Does it take a bit longer to get up, or are you quite kind of philosophical about these things?
In front of the camera, yeah. I mean, look, you got to move on, but of course it's about trying to find the solutions. So I thought in the first half in particular we played pretty well, but again our inability to sort of close the game out came back to haunt us in a quite a difficult way. So it's the nature of the game. We could have gone 2 up and end up losing the game 2-1. So it's something which, it remains a real challenge to try and rectify our home form, but we just have to make sure now that we get the next performance right. And probably sounds a bit cliche, like a cliche, but that's the way it is, and you've just got to work your way through it.
The away record is good, very good. There's, I suppose, going away from home, while you do want to win Ashton Gate, obviously, does that give you a bit of encouragement heading into the West Brom?
Again, I'm realistic. I know that we can't rely on our away form to achieve success. I mean, I think that speaks for itself. You do need a decent away record if you want to be successful. But unfortunately, at the moment, we're relying very, very heavily on it. But look, in the shorter term, it really is very much about getting the preparation right, trying to pick the right side, and make sure that we go out and perform on the day. We know what to expect from West Brom. There'll be a very physical side. There'll be, they're quite direct. Set plays will be important, that we defend them well. But of course, when you play sides who do play like that, it's not just about getting caught up in playing the same way. What we have to do is recognise how we can exploit their weaknesses as well. So it will be a tough game, but like every game is winnable. It depends on how you approach it, and I expect the players to go into the game with a very positive mindset again.
You've talked about players taking ownership and empowerment. In your vast experience of managing teams, where's the line between giving them the ownership and the direction? And you're confident this group of players can tread the line?
Well, it goes hand in hand, if I'm honest. It's when I say give players ownership, that doesn't mean that it's very important that the leadership that is shown by both myself and the other staff is the message is consistent, and that the values in which we work are right, and that's the most important thing, because when you go through a difficult run of games, as we are at home, the players are feeling it in a very difficult way. I think mostly we've performed not bad at home. Our results haven't been great. The game the other night may have had a bit more of a damaging effect, but we just have to get back to work now, and we'll give them will give them what they need. But and that very much at the moment from myself is to, and the rest of the staff is to give them direction and a positive message, because I know that we're a very capable group.
I think in the reflections on Tuesday, there were a couple of things that perhaps we overlooked. George Tanner's performance in terms of his double tackle, Alex Scott, his first goal.
Yeah.
With those young players, how important is it perhaps that we don't, I suppose by asking this question I am, but focusing and putting too much pressure on them, because they are young and they're, one's come out of League Two, one's, just
turned 18.
18.
Yeah, but the thing about it, David, is that they are in the team on merit, and that's the thing. And you've also got to remember that sometimes players who have had a lot of experience and a lot of exposure in different situations, sometimes that responsibility can weigh heavily on them as well. So, there's a threshold for every individual in terms of where pressure affects their own individual game. I just think that, it's always about trying to pick the right team. I've always said it, if players are good enough, it doesn't matter what age they are. So I feel the same way about players who are in the mid-30s as I do about the teenagers. If they're good enough, they get in the side. So, for me, it's very much about trying to pick the right team, and if that includes youngsters, great. And if it includes more senior players, great. I don't really mind too much. But in terms of young players, sometimes you have to protect them. But I don't have too many worries about them.
Two senior players, Andy King, Joe Williams. Yeah. What's their situation? When will we see them back?
Joe's had a very frustrating time, so we feel for him in some way. But look, it's a part and parcel of being a professional footballer, that sometimes the disappointment of dealing with injuries is something that everybody has to deal with. Joe actually won't be out for too long, probably 2-3 weeks maybe. King will be out a bit longer than that. So that's the situation with those two.
And Antoine's seen him around. He's doing his rehab.
Yeah, he'll be back in the fray before too long. But it's really important with such an explosive player like him that we give him the opportunity to get it absolutely right before he's back in.
2,000 fans will go to West Brom.
Yeah,
it's a sellout away end, and I suppose, as with Peterborough before, QPR, etc., they will give them some hope, really.
Look, our fans home and away have been really fantastic this season. We we feel for them, because at home we've not delivered. Away from home, I'd like to think that our fans have had some good away days. We'll see what we can do again this weekend.